The ongoing federal shutdown, it is now in its third week, is beginning to hurt a lot of people. Payroll has first time in this strike has been skipped, which means people are completely reliant on their savings. And worse is to follow on November 1st, a lot of other things that are going to happen. At the same time, we have to take reflection of what exactly is going on. Why is it that every time, it doesn't matter who is in power, the opposition always tries to put spoke in the wheel and try to prevent the debt ceiling from being raised? After all, you're spending like a drunken sailor. I'm talking about the members of the Congress, as well as any government. It doesn't matter whether it is Biden or Trump. You are spending like drunken sailors. Then why is it that suddenly you all become very conscientious and that we should not be raising the debt ceiling? And then also look at the demands that the Democrats are making. They want $1.5 trillion set aside for health benefits for illegals. These people are not paying into the tax system. Why should they be getting healthcare benefits? I mean, what kind of an idea is this? Where do they get their ideas from? I don't understand. I'm not going to go into a rant here about over the Democrat, but Democrats have completely lost it. Did you know that in the state of California, California driver's license has been given to 62,000 illegals, of which one of them you saw on Rancho Cucamonga near Ontario, LA area. The guy goes on I-10 and doesn't apply brakes, and 3 people are dead and many people injured. It turns out that he's an illegal. This is just completely coming unhinged at the wheels, and I think something drastic needs to happen. We know today or tomorrow, San Francisco is also going to be cleaned up by the National Guard. We know it has happened in LA. This is the second city in California. Maybe Sacramento also needs some cleaning up. I don't know about that, but at least we know that this is also going on. So I have an infographic that tells you the cost to the government of not running it, in the sense that many non-essential federal workers are not being paid now, and it's very unfortunate. It is not their fault. Somebody else is running up these bills. It is their fault. Why doesn't the Congress and the Senate take salary cuts also until they come to an agreement? These people have exempted themselves from so many things, including trading in the stock market. It's just ridiculous the way they have framed the rules. Most of them, I feel, deserve to be in the dustbin. Anyway, that's just my comment. Let's go and take a look at the impact on average American families. And my heart really bleeds for them. It's not their fault, yet they are the ones who are being victimized here. Here we go.
Me and my daughter decided to come to Vedyagramma. And hence, when Dia was diagnosed with myopia and she had a -2 power, and I was here in this beautiful sanctuary, words can't explain because you yourself have to come and experience this.
The political cost of the shutdown. Now, the stalemate is in the Democratic demand to extend Affordable Care Act, that is the Obamacare, which the Republicans have refused to negotiate without first passing a clean funding bill. See, I'm all for continuing ACA for US citizens and green card holders, not for illegals. That's not right. So right now, per week, the estimated economic impact is between $7.6 billion to $15.2 billion. Now, immediately what people start doing is taking polls. And let's see what the public thinks. Who should be blamed more, the Democrats or the Republicans? Well, the polling indicates that the public is divided, but by and large, looks like the public is more upset with the Republicans who are in power than over the Democrats who are not. However, this was the first set of polls. Later, some polls have come wherein they are saying that actually Trump's individual popularity is not taking a beating because of this, and also that people are really, really mad at the Democrat. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to come down the pipeline in a few days from now. If you look at the numbers, Reuters poll says blame GOP is at 50% and blame Democrats at 43% with 7% abstaining. Quinnipiac says blame GOP at 45% and blame Democrats at 39%. Now, these are two national polls. In both cases, people say, and this is always the case, the ruling party in power is the one that is blamed more. Now, let's take a look at the independent view. What is the independent view? Nearly half of all independent voters, close to 48%, place more responsibility on the Republicans, 48%, and 32% are blaming Democrats. These are independent voters, and both are being blamed by 14%, and unsure is 6%. Be that as it may, the more important takeaway is what is it doing to Trump's personal popularity, because a lot of people swear by Trump, and if that takes a beating, that means that his loyal MAGA base itself is shaken. Now, let's take a look at how this is costing the two different parties. Let's take a look at the cost to the Republican Party. As the party that is controlling the presidency and the Congress, it faces the traditional burden of blame. Now, this is amplified by controversial administrative actions and legislative paralysis that provide clear targets for political opponents. What are the controversial unilateral actions? Well, layoffs. Thousands of federal workers and a lot of infra and energy projects have been cancelled, and fund shifts where some way they have found to pay the military, at least as far as this shutdown goes, and hopefully that means that at least one branch of the government continues to get paid. Now, what is going to happen is when, I'm not saying I'm not hoping that it will be when, but when it crosses 60 days, almost all the temporarily furloughed federal workers could be permanently fired. This is a big danger. So that will be huge pressure on both the parties, that is Democrats and Republicans, to make sure that the deal on debt ceiling is agreed to sooner than that. I completely agree with the Republicans, although I might not agree with them on everything. On this one, for Obamacare, that should not be for illegals. Well, they should be heading back to wherever they came from. This is a huge mistake. I just don't see how 20 million can be given free medical benefits. This is just nonsense, 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 nonsense. Now let's take a look at the cost of the Democratic Party. As a party initiating the standoff, the Democrats also are facing a fair amount of heat. In fact, the tactic is particularly risky as the shutdown harms many of their own constituents. Remember, the poorer segment of America tends to vote Democrat, and they are going to start facing the heat from 1st November, when food coupons and many other low-income housing benefits will stop. So let us take a look at the policy at the center of the fight. So if you take a look at it, a Reuters poll says 72% of Americans, including half of Americans, support extending the ACA subsidies. Again, I have to qualify this. It should be extended for legal residents of United States and the citizens of United States, not to illegals. Absolutely clear, crystal clear. This is what it should be. But is that what's going to happen? We'll have to wait and see. Now let's take a look at who is really affected, the real world impact. Federal workers, hundreds of thousands are furloughed or working without pay, facing missed paychecks and financial hardships. Low-income families, the low-income families are at risk of losing access to critical food assistance called SNAP and WIC programs and federally funded child care programs. All these things will stop 1st November. Military families, despite unilateral pay, spouses with federal jobs are unpaid, and many families are turning to food pantries. Veterans and small businesses, disruption to veteran services, and a halt on new small business loans. If you are a small business owner and if you have applied for a loan, that stuff is not being looked at during this time. So it might cause delays and it might also endanger your business. That's where we are today. I'm hoping that a speedy solution will be reached very soon and everybody gets back to working again. This is the data as current as the 23rd of October 2025. Things may change. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.